Welcome to ZKast, everyone. I'm Zeus Caravallo from ZK Research, and I'm here on site at the Worldwide Technology stand inside the Expo Hall at AWS Reinvent 2023. Wow, it's really crowded in here. I'm here with Vimesh Patel. You are the Chief Technology Advisor for Federal for Worldwide Technology. Explain what that is. What is that job?
So I spend a lot of my time working with our customers to understand their challenges, trying to figure out how we can leverage technology to create really good outcomes for them.
And by your customers, you mean they're all federal space?
That's pretty much all I work on is federal customers.
Well, that's exciting.
It is. It's a great job. It's a great mission, right, to help support the federal government.
Yeah. Now, this is day one of AWS Reinvent. What did you think of the keynote this morning and some of the themes from the show?
Yeah, I think a lot of trying to emphasize on innovation is really kind of what I'm taking away. Obviously, I think this year has really been about Gen AI and opening up our eyes to how exactly organizations can take better advantage of AI. I think one of the things I'd seen previously is, senior leadership and government officials talked about AI a lot, but they didn't exactly have a good understanding, right, of what the impacts were, how it could do. They do things like predictive maintenance and have little pilot projects. And then when Gen AI came out, it just really opened everyone's eyes to the world of possibilities and what can be done.
Yeah, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, who was on stage this morning actually, had called generative AI the iPhone moment for AI. You agree with that?
I think it will be.
Yeah.
I think there's still a long way to go. I talked to a lot of customers and they're still trying to figure out, what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and what the impacts are going to be to an organization. But if implemented correctly, I think it is the iPhone moment.
Yeah. So we are here, like I said, at reInvent. You mentioned this theme of innovation, right? Now, when I think of federal and innovation, sometimes square peg round hole a little bit. Why is it that, and maybe it's just perception, but why is it that federal has been and DoD has been slow to modernize and adopt a lot of this new technology?
Yeah, I think with respect to cloud, generally everyone would agree with you with that statement that the government's taken a little bit longer. When I talk to folks, I think the two big ones are really price uncertainty and how to secure the cloud. Nobody wants a runaway bill, right? And that's still at the top of everyone's mind to figure out how do I make sure that I have that certainty and predictability about what I'm going to do and align that with how the federal budget cycle works.
Yeah.
The other piece I think is really around security. So a lot of organizations have a traditional security program for their data center and maybe their edge, and then they kind of have a separate one over here in the cloud.
Yeah.
And if we don't figure out how to bring those security programs together, right, our adversary is going to find a seam and take advantage of it. I think that continues to be a really strong stressor for federal agencies. It's like, hey, how am I going to better secure this and make sure I have a holistic security effort, and then really kind of grow my use of the cloud and transformation.
Yeah, I know the kind of pay-per-use consumption model of cloud, while maybe long-term cheaper, does mess with federal cycles, which is probably why FedRAMP Act, compliance is so important, right? Because it normalizes that a lot. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, what do you see now? Are you seeing more movement and more desire to modernize?
I am.
And if so, why now?
I think a couple. Let's break this apart. When you look at the Department of Defense, there's a very, very strong push from the leadership and the CIO for joint, right? You have programs called Joint All-Domain Command and Control, and they're saying, hey, we need to better share our data, we need to better operate as one organization. And what a better way to do that, right, than to leverage the cloud? Not exclusively, but to take advantage where you can create great connectivity and have the cloud come into play. And I think that's a very big driver is for that sort of joint forces capability. I think in the civilian agencies, the big eye-opener is really all the services, the microservices that are available in the Amazon cloud and other clouds that they can take advantage of to really, immediately, very, very quickly, right, improve the citizen experience, improve processing, improve patient healthcare and outcomes. To try and do that without the cloud, to do it, in a traditional data center by buying equipment and then buying software and putting it all together, it's just going to take a lot longer. And so the cloud really is kind of that speed to market sort of piece for them.
Yeah. Now, in fairness to federal, I do know, I was reading somewhere, I think DoD alone has about $10 billion in technical debt, right? And that never mind the rest of the government agencies. So when you work with them, how do you help them think about how to modernize, but yet deal with all the tech debt?
Yeah, the tech debt is soul crushing.
Yeah.
I've been on both ends of it. At my job now, I work with federal entities and try and help develop plans for them to get out of their tech debt, and it is really, really hard. They have legacy systems that sometimes are the linchpin for a critical function. and it's not like they can just easily kind of cut it and replace it. What we try and talk to them about is really to kind of start looking at how you can create layers, right? You might have a data layer, you might have an application layer, and you might start picking pieces off legacy applications and try and drive those towards modernization. I think the other piece is, lift and shift. People do that into the cloud, but I really think that they've got to look at the outcome they're trying to achieve and the mission they're trying to do, and then figure out what really makes sense. Because I think just taking a workload, picking it up, moving it into the cloud, and dropping it isn't really modernization innovation. And frankly, it just kind of continues the same amount of tech debt. And so we got to get past that slowly and one step at a time.
And so when you think about all the initiatives that the federal government and DoD could have, what are some of the near-term ones where they're looking to leverage some of the services from a company like AWS and really take advantage of the cloud?
Yeah, I think that a lot of it should be and needs to be really focused on delivering that next generation of outcome. If you look at the Department of Defense, right, our adversaries across the globe, right, are modernizing, they're creating more capabilities, and they're doing more. And so, we need to look at it from that perspective. We talk about tech debt. Just taking away tech debt and replacing the same capability in some new modern methodology isn't really going to help us, right, advance what we need to do. On the civilian side, we are so used to having great services, right? We pull out our phone and we use lots of apps, and you have an issue with Amazon, with a product you buy, you talk to a chatbot and everything's done. And it's like the exact opposite, right? In civilian agencies.
I don't remember a chatbot for the passport agency, for instance.
Yeah. Or imagine the IRS, and you can just sort of say, hey, can I deduct my dog food from my taxes as a something or other. And so I think really kind of improving the citizen experience and really driving efficiencies and making sure those government services are really available, should be kind of the next piece of the future. Is like, let's make things better, right? Let's not just modernize for modernization's sake. Let's not move to the cloud for cloud's sake. But let's literally, dramatically improve what we're doing.
Yeah. Now, obviously, one of the big themes here at Reinvent is generative AI, right? They announced their Q, Amazon Q, for all their products. When you think about AI, though, in the context of federal, there's obviously, the risk reward is huge, right? Like any kind of mistake, could have really big implications. So how is federal thinking about how they want to approach AI? Because it's certainly a much different environment for them.
Yeah, so the White House just put out ethical principles.
Yeah, I saw that.
For AI,
and I was glad they did that.
I totally agree. I think that's got to be at the forefront of how we do things. But if you take that step back, we are a long way from machines making decisions, right? Right now, I think we're at the place where machines can help humans to make decisions. And if we do that in kind of a careful and measured way, I think we can build a roadmap to the future. I think it's a very long way before, we're gonna shoot things with just AI, right? There's always gonna be a human involved. And so if you look at that in kind of different phases and stages and look at the risk versus the return, there is a framework that exists, right, for us to be able to do this smartly and carefully. And then I think the counterpiece, though, is really important is, adversaries are actually looking to figure out how to compromise our AI systems. And it's just as important, right, because if you train a model and there's a weakness in it, then our adversary knows about it, then they're going to be able to take advantage of that. Whether it's, this I'm helping the human do something better, or we get to the point where it's actually making a decision.
Well, what do you think of the AWS guardrails announcement to help customers with responsible AI?
I think that's a key piece, right? We focus on the technology, and we have to be able to, have good, measures and compliance and policy around AI and how we use it and what data we put into it. So I think it's going to be a great capability to help accelerate kind of what our partners and customers really want and need to do.
All right, Vimesh. Well, certainly thanks for that overview, your thoughts on Reinvent, and then some of the challenges facing the federal government here. But it is good to see that there are modernization efforts underway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so on behalf of Vimesh Patel from Worldwide Technology, I'm ZKast from ZK Research saying thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on another ZKast.